All right, here we go. Welcome, guys. This is James J with another episode of Houston Home Talk, and I'm super excited today. We're going to go off script just a little and talk to Ursula Krause, who is a online business coach. And I have been following Ursula now for probably several months now, just kind of looking at the content that you've been putting out. And I'm like, I got to have you come on and talk about what you're doing, because everything you're coaching on, it relates to my business, which is real estate. And I was very, very impressed with the content that you've been putting out. So I had to have you on. So thank you. How are you doing today?
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me here as well. And I'm doing just fine. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to tap into some, awesome business talk. It's my favorite kind of topic. So let's get into it.
Yeah, because normally you're the one doing the interview, and now I get to interview you.
Yeah, it's like, this is weird, but it's okay. You can also mention it.
Yeah, so let's kind of set the table. So I've actually met you several years ago.
Yeah.
You used to work at a fitness gym here in Houston, which I used to go to as well, and actually still work there. But let's take the audience back a little bit before that. So kind of take us up to where you were before becoming a fitness trainer into kind of where you are today, because it's kind of an interesting journey.
It really has. It really has been. Where do I even start? So you mean like before I started a fitness?
Yeah, even before that, like what got you? Yeah, what led you up to becoming a fitness trainer?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So when I graduated high school early because I was never that kind of social kind of person. I didn't like to be sitting down, listening to somebody teach me something I didn't care about. Like, it was just a struggle for me. School was a big struggle for me. And I always saw myself as like the outcast, because I would always get along better and have better conversations with the teachers and not really the students or my peers. So high school in general for me was just hard, and it was just boring, and I just didn't know why. So I felt like I was just an outcast. So I ended up like going to this, it's called Reigns. It's the school that they give you the opportunity to finish school faster.
Okay.
So I ended up doing my last year in like 2 months, basically. And can you hear me?
Yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely.
I lost you for a second. So I ended up graduating school early, and then from there, I had no idea what I wanted to do. My entire family has always been in business, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with business. So everyone was either, they own factories, dealerships, etc. And I'm over here like, I'm a girl. Like, what am I supposed to do with like a dealership? Like, I don't understand, right? All I knew was that I wanted to, I know this may not sound like, too inspiring, but I just wanted to make money. You know what I mean?
No,
I just wanted to make a lot of money, but I didn't know how to do that, right? I still didn't know how to do it. So at 18, I was pretty lost in my journey. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I tried college. I dropped out twice. I still didn't know what to do. And the way that I got into fitness training was by training with my dad. So I would go to the gym with my dad, and I actually fell in love with working out.
Okay.
I later on had a manager approach me, say, hey, you want to become a trainer? I said, why not? I have nothing else to do. Let's do it, right? So inspiring. So I became a fitness trainer, and I started working at LA Fitness at the time. That was my very first job, okay? Now, with that being said, a couple of years later, I ended up working at a bigger fitness company, which is where you work at now. And during that time, during those 3 years, I had to learn how to sell, because I was never that salesperson. I never knew how to talk to people. I was very introverted. So like putting me in a pool of, dozens and dozens of people at one time was really hard for me and overwhelming. And coming into this gym, it was like you either sell or you don't, and you fail, basically.
That's right.
So the problem with that, those 3 years, and I don't want to say problem, because everything that I learned there led me to where I am now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But the thing was, I actually taught myself almost everything I know now about sales, because I said, I didn't go to school. I have no plan B. I don't know what else I would do if it's not becoming, the best trainer, salesperson, whatever.
Right.
So I started buying books on Amazon.
Yep.
And this is where my sales journey came to be, right?
Yep.
So the very first book I bought, which is one of the books that I always recommend for everybody, and I'm sure you know which one that is, it's A Little Red Book of Selling.
Yes.
And actually, someone at that gym, Kevin, KO, he was the one who told me about this book. And I started reading about sales, and I actually felt so in love with interacting with people, how to, get people to influence people to like, become clients or influence people to listen to you or whatever the case may be. So then I just started buying all these different books from Amazon, everything on sales, everything on influencing people, and also how to overcome my introvert side of me as well. Very long story short, not really shorter.
That's all right. I got time. It's all good.
So what happened was I went from this super introverted person, scared to, tell someone, hey, buy my stuff, right? To, for me, I believe that I became really, really good at interacting with people. I became really good at actually, my closing rate went, much higher than when I first started, to the point that I was like, well, if I'm making like $8,000 here, like, why can't I make the $8,000 for myself?
Right.
So, I don't know. So like, it was just kind of like, I fell in, it's weird. Like I fell into fitness coaching, but I also fell into the business aspect of things. And the more I implemented the strategies that I was learning in the books that I was reading, the more results I got, the more momentum I got, and the more I fell in love with what I was doing.
Now, what was your plan? So you left the fitness to become an online coach. Were you specifically looking at becoming a fitness online coach, or what was your plan when you left the fitness industry to go into online coaching? And then why online coaching? Why not another business? What led you to the online coaching? Because I love the online business for much of the same reason that you probably do, is because it's scalable.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
do it right.
huge. So, but for you, like what led you to becoming an online coach specifically?
Yeah. So it's interesting because when I left my old job, I left without a plan. And a lot of people know this because I share my content.
Right.
I had no plan B.
Yeah.
I left my job because I was very unhappy. And I wasn't fulfilled at all. And I told myself, I can either stick with this job and keep being unfulfilled and unhappy. And I was always in a bad mood because I was unhappy, and which was affecting not only myself, but also my, my family, my friends. Or I can quit. And this is so terrible, I think. I don't know. Like, this is like so like cold turkey. I'm like, I can quit and just figure it out. I'll just figure it out. Like, something's going to happen. I'm putting it in the universe. I don't know what's going to happen, and I've never been that manifest kind of person, but I'm like, I'm done.
That's right. No, that's good though. And sometimes you just need to burn the ships. You just need to burn. I mean, you just need to do it.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's situation is a little different. Some people may not just be able to go out and do what you did.
Right.
So maybe not the best advice for everybody, but some people, not at all. You just need to do it. And I know you deal a lot with the people that you work with, just making that first step. And you took a big one, just leaving.
Yeah. And you see, this is the thing. So it's very right what you say, because I never tell people, hey, go quit your job.
Right.
Even with my clients, I always teach them how to build their business first in a way that allows them to quit their job. And everyone's situation is different, because I was very blessed to have a family that supported me throughout that journey. Yep. And my fear, the fear that I had when I left my job, it wasn't so much of, oh my God, what if I can't pay my bills? What if I can't do this or that? It wasn't so much of that, because I'm blessed to have a family that supported me. Yep. But with that being said, I also have a dad, a very strict father, that told me, if you don't make this happen, I'm not gonna feed your ass all the time. You know what I mean? That kind of really pressured me, but also motivated me to give it 110%. So everyone's situation is different, but I do believe it's a matter of taking some sort of action and overcoming whatever fear you have, because my fear was very real to me, that I didn't want to let my dad down and actually wanted to accomplish something big for myself. But most people fears, other people fear different things. Like,
Yeah.
what if I quit my job and I can't, and I don't make it? So you got to be smart about it too, of course.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that self-talk, I mean, you talk yourself into it, talk yourself out of it. And I'm
Yeah.
sure this is something you have to deal with your clients, whether it be having them do a Facebook Live, for example, because
Yeah.
people get so concerned about what I look like. And one of the things I love about your videos is that you don't care. You don't have to be you just go
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
do it. And I mean, again, it's the genuineness that comes across big time when you're doing these videos. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the reasons why so many people get attracted to what you're doing. And honestly, one of the reasons, like, even though I knew you,
Mm-hmm.
you and I really never had a real like a conversation necessarily.
Right.
I just knew who you were, and I've just kind of followed you for the last several months.
Right.
As you've been doing the social media thing. So like I said, I admire the fact that you do that. But a lot, what can people do? Because I know that's a big thing, is for people to just take that first step, whether it just be simply doing a video, a
Yeah.
live, because people are always concerned about how they're going to look and what other people think. And I tell
Right.
people, who cares?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Stop worrying so much about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because when I first started doing lives, you worry about the stupidest things.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you make up stories in your head,
Yes.
right? So it's so funny because when I first went live, I was worrying about random things like, oh my God, like, what are my high school friends going to think of me, right? It's like, what? Like, what is, my ex-boyfriend's going to see me and think I'm
Right.
stupid. What? So it's like those random things that stop you. And if you really look into your fears, most of your fears come from that judgment that you think someone's going to make of you, that it's either a friend or your father or your mom or family. It's someone else's what's it called, judgment of you that you really truly fear. Because if you put all that aside, like if you went live on Facebook, for example, just, example, if you go live on Facebook and you had, none of those people that you think are going to make a judgment of you, if you knew they weren't going to watch you, if you knew that they weren't going to be there, or if you knew that they're going to be like, oh, that's awesome that you're doing that, you think you're not going to go on Facebook, go live? Hell yeah, you'd be motivated to go on Facebook because people now are saying awesome things about you, which in reality is what actually happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when I started actually posting content that at first I was kind of like shy about, because I'm like, I'm speaking, I'm being honest about my story. I'm being honest about what I believe without the fear of other people's judgment. I started actually getting reached out by, actually, my ex reached out to me and told me that he was proud of me, right? What I feared, that I was going, oh my God, like, that's so weird, he's going to like take money. Or one of my favorite teachers reached out to me, told me how proud he was of me as well, and most of my first clients were people that I went to school with, right?
Wow.
So it's like, like you're really making stories up in your head.
Yes.
And it's most of the time, it's just because we think that people are going to judge us in a negative way. And if you really think about that, it's like you're literally allowing people that aren't really in your life affect your decisions in your future. Like how? No.
It makes no sense. I mean, but people do it all the time. People say they don't care. They don't care. But then, when it comes to doing a video or something, putting themselves out there, they're worried. They're worrying about what other people think all the time. People do it all the time. And so, in real estate, for me, like I have coaches, and they always have encouraged me to do a lot of what you talk about, doing putting yourself out there, putting the content out there, because that's how you attract people to you.
Right, of course.
And you've done a great job at that. So the businesses that you have worked with, give me kind of like a summary of what type of businesses are you dealing with? Is it from A to B pretty much, or A to Z? What kind of people are reaching out to you for your help?
Yeah. So the main business that I work with is online coaches or consultants. So for example, coaches that want to build their business in fitness or in life coaching, or just basically if you're in a service-based business that you can help others through an experience or a struggle, or you can solve someone's problem. You know, this can be in the finance world too. This
Right.
can be in the, if you're real estate and you're trying to teach other people how to become a realtor, right? It's like
Absolutely.
pretty much anything that you have been through that you want to coach other people through. Like
Right.
that's the main reason why I become coaches or consultants. So I basically help those people, you know, put themselves out there in a way that they can attract their ideal client, the person that they can help, and start building their clientele organically. And I say organically because most of my clients don't have like a large following, don't
Right.
have an email list. They just want to put themselves out there and just try this thing out in order to branch out, right? But
Okay.
you gotta start somewhere first. So that is really with the eyeballs that you now have, which most of the time it's either on your Facebook or in your Instagram, and how to utilize those eyeballs in a way that will, you know, attract that paying client and, you know, start building your social proof, building your
Yeah.
reputation to one day you can actually branch out. So that's basically what I recommend.
What would you recommend? So if someone's looking and listening, what would you recommend them starting with, as far as, there's so many platforms right now, you know,
Yeah.
there's and the algorithms are changing with Facebook,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the live is one of the things that Facebook is, the stories.
Mm,
That's where they're going. Like, they are putting so much into the stories that we're putting
yeah.
on Facebook now, because obviously Instagram has the, you know, Instagram stories as well. So what would you recommend for people that may be looking to get started? Because like I said, you can get overwhelmed with this. Like I said, there's a platform for everything, and there's always a new one on the rise. So
Hmm.
we know obviously IG, Instagram, and Facebook are the two main ones right now.
Hmm.
So what do you recommend for people that are maybe looking to start? Any recommendations, whether it be Facebook or Instagram
Yeah.
post or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question because it's something that I feel so strongly about that I coach my new clients on.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, you know, I always ask them, where do you have the most eyeballs right now?
Okay.
And a lot of the times we want to go with Instagram because on Facebook, you know, people know us, people
Right.
are, you have friends, you
Yeah.
have exes, you have teachers,
Right.
whatever. So we don't want to, you know, put ourselves there because we're shy and timid.
That's
We
a
know
great
those
point.
people.
Yeah, that's a great
But
point.
but the thing is this, people will buy from you, will, you know, will purchase whatever it is that you have to offer, or, you know, will dive into an offer if and when they do like and trust you.
Right.
So, and we already know that in the sales world, if people don't like and trust you, they're not going to buy from you. And on Facebook, most of the time, I want to say 95% of the time,
Mhm.
you already have you know, a handful of people there that might need your help, that could need your help, but they just don't know that you have something to offer.
Right.
What better way to present an offer or to present your service to someone that already has a sense of trust and like for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, on Instagram, I'm not saying Instagram has been, you know, has blown up for
Yeah.
me in the past few months, but I started on my Facebook.
Right.
The reason why is because on my Facebook, I was able to gather social proof, enough social proof to
Yep.
where I could branch out on other platforms where my leads were more warm to cold leads. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say, you know, whether that is Instagram or whether that is Facebook, figure out where you have the most eyeballs. But at the same time, take into consideration that most people on your Facebook right now, there's going to be more people there that already have a sense of trust for you. And those are
Right.
the people that are easier to convert into paying clients once
Yeah.
you give them something that they need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point. And
Yeah.
you're right. I think Instagram is a little, and like I said, it's changing a lot with a lot of the stories and where they're in the IGTV. A lot of that is 20. I'm thinking next year, because a lot of people aren't using IGTV right now.
Not
It's not
really.
really big. I think
Mm.
it will be. It's
It
coming.
will, for sure. Yeah.
So that's a great point though. But the number of people that you already have on Facebook,
Mhm.
um, that makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
so for people, what do you suggest for people? Like, how can they get out of their comfort zone and get to a point of being okay with just doing and not trying to prepare and have everything completely perfect? Because I think people, first of all, they underestimate what's in their mind. I know I
Hmm.
had this when I first got started, in real estate and trying to start, even with the podcast. I've been doing this a while as far as the real estate business goes, but because I do it all the time, I don't think it's not a big deal to me. And I'm like,
Exactly.
and I
Yeah.
know you have to deal with people who just kind of think like, who would
Yeah.
really want to know what I have up here? Like,
Right.
because you
Yeah.
know it and you assume
Yeah.
it's not a big deal for other people. So
Yeah.
what do you advise people? Because I know this is something that you just got to get out of your own head and just
Hmm.
understand that there's a lot of people that all the information that you know, a lot of people need it and they don't know it.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I tell my clients because I deal with this every single
Mhm.
time that I enroll a new client. And that is one, the very first thing, and I know like people will hear this from gurus all the time, and
Yeah.
that is, what is your why? Know your
Right.
why, or
Yeah.
whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. The thing is, most people, I don't think, know how to narrow down, or they don't have their why right. And what
Right.
I mean by that is that if you ask somebody, hey, what's your why? Oh, well, I want to be successful, or I want to make money, I want to work from home. I'm like,
Right.
but why? And then I
Right.
think that when you dive into that real why, like for me, my why is so deep that when I think about, oh, I'm nervous, because look, I still get nervous right
Right.
before I hit that live button.
Yeah.
Okay. I still feel nervous.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm doing this podcast with you, I've done a
Yeah.
couple, but I'm sweating right now. I still get nervous. You know what I mean? It's like, I still have that, like, I want to say the right things. What if I say
Yeah.
something stupid, right? So, but every time I feel that fear, which that fear, I felt it a lot more back then,
Right.
but I still feel it. But it's a matter of acknowledging that fear, acknowledging the fact that it feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But because my why is so important to me, like, I'm going to just stomp on that,
Yeah.
fear, and just say, you know what, like, screw you, because my why is more important than you. And yes, I do talk to my fear. Okay. It's like this little like devil right here. And I do talk
That's
to it.
right.
Okay. I do talk
Absolutely.
to it.
Yeah.
But I think that you have to discover what your real why is, that deep why. And to
Yeah.
give you an example, and I tell this to my clients, for me, it's like the fact that, I saw my parents struggle so much growing up.
Mhm.
And so I can have these opportunities. For me, it's like every time I even think about it, I get emotional.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm like, I'm doing them, it's almost like I'm not honoring them if I
Right.
don't fucking go live
Yeah.
on my Facebook. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like
Yeah.
little things like that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that is the number one thing. It's know your real why. And if that is enough for you, that's important enough for you, then you'll just, talk to the fear and say, screw you. Like, I'm going to do it anyway. And also understand that your brain is it's wired to protect you from anything that
Right.
feels uncertain or
Right.
fearful or scary. So your fear is actually doing what it's meant to do, which is
Yeah.
protect you, but it doesn't know that you're stopping yourself from doing something that you actually want. So you have to rewire your brain to
Yeah.
say, oh, hey, like, I feel the fear, I get you, and I know that you're scared right now, but I'm going to do this anyway because it means a lot to me and it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of just knowing where that fear comes from, understanding why you're actually doing this. And if it's
Mhm.
important enough to you, you're going to just have a conversation with that fear and feel the fear, feel how uncomfortable it is,
Yep.
but do it anyway,
Yeah.
because the more you do it, the less that fear will show up and the less uncomfortable it will be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah, all the gurus or everybody has fear.
Everyone.
Every
Yeah.
single person. It's
Yeah.
just like you said, they do it anyway. They
Hmm.
have enough the why. I have so you read Start with Why, Simon
Yeah,
Sinek?
of course. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I talk about all, and it's although it's a business book, typically
Mhm.
it relates to everything. It does.
It does. It
Personal
does.
business. It's like, why do you? And most people don't think that deep as to really like, why do I do what I do? They
Yeah,
don't
they
take
don't.
the time
Most
to
people don't really
think about it.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
and so they're just kind of coasting through life, and it's like, I'm gonna bring this up because it just happened because my one of my best friend's brother just passed away, and last
Mm.
week. So I've been
Oh,
doing a whole
sucks.
lot of 48 years old. And so I've been doing so much reflecting, like
Yeah.
you just don't know. And it was completely
Oh,
sudden.
yeah.
You didn't know. It just happened. And so this last week has just been a lot of reflecting and kind of like, okay, I've really got to get whatever it is that I'm going to be doing, like I
Yeah.
got to get on it now. And so I try to
Yeah.
encourage people, when I'm teaching classes or whatever, like, guys, don't take these days for granted. Like get
Mm-hmm.
out there, do it. And so figuring out the why, what can you help people with as far as that? I'm assuming that's part of what you do, is helping people, first of all, figure out why do you want to do fitness or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you go about maybe helping people figure out what their why is, and kind of
Yeah.
narrowing it down to be able to, because you can have a why, but being able to convey that to other people and
Yeah.
have that have them attracted to you to be able to ultimately turn that into a business, which is, I know that's largely what you do, is you help
Yeah.
people narrow down. So as far as figuring out the why, what can people do to help
Yeah.
figure out the why?
Yeah. So when it comes to that, it's interesting because it does take, how it takes a little while for a new person to kind of open up to you.
Yes.
Like when you're first, like as a fitness coach, right?
Yeah.
I would ask somebody, hey, like, what are your goals? I want to lose 20 pounds.
Right.
Okay. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Well, I want to feel more comfortable, in my skin. Okay, cool. Why do you want to feel more comfortable in your own skin? Well, I just feel like I can't really wear the things that I want to wear. I'm like, why do you want to wear other stuff? Well,
Yeah.
because I want, so basically
Yeah.
the process that I take them through is so simple as
Yeah.
just keep asking why,
Yeah.
why, but also not just saying why. It's like having
Right.
a conversation with that person about every single one of the responses. So for example, let me ask you, James, so this is literally a process that I take my clients through. Okay.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. Why did you start this podcast?
I wanted to provide a lot of content in a way where people can, besides if I just love real estate, but I wanted to be able to put content out for people to be able to have it with them at all times, at no matter where they're at. And so I feel like podcasting is kind of the wave of the future, and voice, even though video is huge, I think voice was
Right.
one of the things. And I have a mentor who also encouraged me to
Yeah.
start a podcast.
Okay, cool. So why do you want to add so much value to these people?
I think because the real estate business, there's so much misinformation out there as it relates to real estate. And so I've been doing it for about 14 years in the real estate business. And I feel like the information that I've learned, the experiences that I've had over this 14 years, it can help somebody else that's either never been through it or currently in it right now.
Right.
And so that's why that would be the why for
Okay.
why I wanted to do that.
Okay, cool. How is this going to impact your life though? How is starting this podcast and delivering so much awesome value to these people impact your life?
I think when people see me or hear me, they look at me as the authority.
Right.
And that's ultimately what I'm going after, because once people start looking at you as the authority in real estate, and it's not me asking people for business, I will just
Right.
attract a business because I'm putting out the content first. And
Right.
I'm trying to get the know, like, and trust before I go and say, hey, do
Exactly.
business with me. So that's
Yeah.
why.
Okay, cool. So you want to be the authority
Yep.
in your field by putting out content that it's valuable and it's going to help people.
Mhm.
So by establishing yourself as the authority in your field, how is that going to impact your daily life? How is that going to impact your overall life? Meaning your friends, your family, yourself as a person. How does becoming that authority impact your life in that way?
So ultimately, it will boil down to people doing business with me. That means I have more transactions. That means I'm selling more homes, generating more gross commission income for myself and my family. And so the ultimate goal is to have more business, work with more people, make more money, ultimately to be able, I've got 2 kids. And so they need money. And I have a wife who also, although she's very independent, let me put that out there.
So you want to provide for your family, you want to provide for
Also,
your children and your wife.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how does that make your life better? How does that make you feel providing for your family?
Oh, it's everything for me. Because in this business of real estate, there's a lot of ups and downs. And so
Right.
there's a lot of unpredictable
Yeah.
months sometimes, seasons sometimes where, it's a lot lower in volume than some other
Right.
times. So ultimately, I think by being the authority and having all the content out there, it generates more business for me ultimately to be able
Right.
to kind of to overcome when those times are a little bit lower or volumes low, business is slow.
Yeah.
It helps me to offset that and still be ultimately present because I get worried a lot
Mm-hmm.
about stuff that I probably shouldn't. And
Mm-hmm.
ultimately it affects me being mentally there with my kids when I should be present. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking about, and it's been like that for a while with this being in this business where I'm always thinking about the next deal.
Right. Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
that
Awesome.
would be the why of really why it helps me be more present, quite honestly, when you've got deals and money and so forth. I don't have to think about next deal, next deal, next deal, because I've done that for years.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So your why ultimately is to provide for your family and to be more present with your
Yeah,
children. Awesome. So
absolutely.
right there for me, I wouldn't even stop out there. I'll stop right here because I can have an hour conversation with
Right.
you.
Yeah.
But we take that why so deep that
Yeah.
I'll still come and ask you, like, why do you feel the need to provide for your family? Did you have a lack of something when you were younger? You know what
Right.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
did you see your parents struggle and maybe you don't want your kids to see you struggle the
Yeah.
same way that you saw? You know what I mean? So for me,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how strong it is. So right now, I would say that your why is to provide. It's not only I want to add value, yeah, that's all
Yeah.
awesome, but
Yeah.
you first, I believe, you got to be selfish first and be
Yes.
happy yourself first in order to make other people happy. So your why ultimately is to provide for your family, your wife and your children, and be more present with them,
Yeah.
right? And
For
a lot of
sure.
times, and I would even say, probably to have more freedom, right? To have more
Yes.
time with them, because you know that all we do here is just everyone talks about work, 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 and then you go
Yeah.
to sleep and then you work, and then
That's right.
that's how relationships are broken. That's how
Yeah.
families are broken. So I like that because your why, I believe, is to have a better relationship with your wife, your
Yeah.
family, and just be there for them
Yeah.
in ways that you couldn't, if you're at work all the damn time,
Yeah.
right? So I like that. So that's kind of like the conversation that I
Yeah.
take my clients through.
That's
And it's
good.
just, yeah, it's just kind of like but that's the thing, like you're not just going to say, well, I want to provide for my family and my friends, or my family and my children, and I want to be there for them. I want to be present for them because I wasn't when I was a
Right.
kid. About, like, you're not going to open up like that
That's right.
at first.
Yeah.
So I think having a conversation and asking why and how that impacts your life, like, that's huge. To finding the real why is, how will that impact your life?
Yeah.
How will, starting a business impact your life? And that will start, diving into the real reason why they actually want to start a business online, or, real estate, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's awesome. Look, you got me inspired right now, Ursula.
There you go. I'll PayPal me. I'll
That's
send you an
awesome
invoice.
because yeah, that is definitely not something that pretty much anybody's going to do. They're not going to
Yeah.
get that deep with it,
Yeah.
which is that's great. So what now you have your online coaching program.
Mhm.
How do people reach out to you? I know it's we got 2 weeks left in this year before we hit
Mhm.
2019. So are you doing anything right now, offer wise, for any people that are maybe interested in getting in touch with you for online coaching, or consult, or whatever it is that you may be offering for the next couple of weeks or so?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the last 2 weeks of December, I'm doing one-on-one coaching for the rest
Okay.
of the year, but I will no longer be doing one-on-one coaching the way that I'm doing now, which is I meet with my clients every single week. I'm actually scaling in January. So in January, I'm actually going to launch a 6 weeks mastermind, and that's what I'm going to be working on for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'm taking probably, and that whoever's following me on social media will
Yeah.
see this offer. I'm taking 3 more clients on this month, the last 3
Okay.
clients for December. And then after that, I will be launching my 6 weeks mastermind, and I will be bringing on a big amount of people within that group. But As far as where they can find me, honestly, I'm on Facebook and on Instagram. That's where I connect with most of my clients.
Okay.
So, you know, you can add on somewhere here. I don't
I
know.
will.
Yeah.
So the mastermind, is that, do you already have a date set for that to start? Is that going to be a live, or how's the mastermind going to work?
Yeah, so the mastermind, and I'm actually finalizing everything
Okay.
to start promoting that, because there's gonna be, I'm putting together a free challenge, a
Okay.
webinar, all this fun stuff. But as of now, I believe that the mastermind will be January 20th, like that's when it'll actually start. So
Okay.
I will be announcing it, promoting it, you know, between December 26th and, you know, so on.
Okay.
So yeah, and the mastermind will be live like I am doing right now. You know, I do weekly lives with my clients, but the difference is that it's going to be in a group setting. It's no
Okay.
longer going to be one-on-one. So yes, there is coaching calls with my clients, but I have an online course where that's where they find all the lessons, all the modules, basically the guide to help them start their coaching business. If that makes sense.
So that actually, you kind of answered the question I was going to ask you,
Oh,
because
okay.
I was going to ask you
I got
what,
ahead of you. I know.
no, it's okay though. It's okay. Because I was going to ask you, what are you doing in 2019, or what plans
Oh
do you
yeah,
have for 2019 that
yeah,
maybe you haven't done yet?
yeah.
Obviously the mastermind is one. And
Mhm.
are you doing that just because you feel like you can reach more people that way? Is that the main reason behind that, or is there something
Um,
else with behind
yeah.
the mastermind?
So yeah, I mean, I kind of answered your question in a
Yep.
way, but there's something that I've been working on the last, you know, 18 months that I've been
Okay.
online. The thing is, the reason why I want to do a mastermind is not only to it's to scale,
Hmm.
but the reason why I'm able to do that now is because the last 18 months I've been focusing on one-on-one coaching, which
Yeah.
has helped me build a lot of social proof.
Yeah.
And there's only so much you can handle when you're doing one-on-one coaching. And to get to the next level, you do want to scale somehow. So this is
Absolutely.
the way that I have found to scale, is not so much of like reach more people. I'm reaching the same amount of people,
Right.
but I'm actually being able to help, you know, reach more people. Yes, I
Yeah.
guess that's the same question. You know, just help more people as
Yeah.
well, but also to help myself
Yeah.
scale in my business. Um, and you know, I've never actually, I wasn't gonna say this live because it's something that I have, it's my goal, and I wish I could show you what I have on my laptop right here. I have like this little sticker here that has like my big goal for January.
Okay.
And if I do present this goal here, I'm really gonna have to like kick it in the rear to make it happen. So it's
Right.
gonna keep me accountable, right?
Yeah.
Um, so for 2019, the way that I want to scale is by making my first 20K, my 20K month.
Okay.
And I have right here, it says 20K in January, don't be a little bitch.
Okay. So that is Mr. Grant Cardone.
Yes, yes it is. Yes it is.
Yes.
Yeah, and you
I
either
love
hate him or
Grant.
love him, dude. You either
I
hate him
do.
or love him.
I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of my biggest goals, is to hit one of my biggest months. Like I
Okay.
said, you know, I love what I do. I love helping people, but I also, like Grant Cardone says, I love the money too, you know, because
I
it
mean,
lets me
look,
know.
as much as I love, I mean, yeah, we got to have the money to do things, you know, as
Yeah.
much as, but it does help when you're able to do something that you truly love. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, you'll work. I heard Lori, is it Grenier from Shark Tank?
Yeah, yeah,
Lori.
yeah.
And she's got this quote that says that entrepreneurs are like the only people that will work 100 hours to avoid working 40. And it
Yeah.
is the truth. It is so true.
Okay, so you know how you know, this weekend is Christmas, so
Yes.
we have freaking like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, Monday, Tuesday off.
Yeah.
And I was telling my boyfriend, I'm like, oh my God, because it's an entrepreneur tour. We're like, oh
Yeah.
my God, this weekend's gonna suck because
Yeah.
it's so slow. You're not doing anything. Oh yeah, but you're right. Like when you actually really enjoy what you do, it's like I could work all damn day and I don't
Yeah.
even notice working like 12 hours. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh crap, it's 9 o'clock at
Yeah.
night. I should probably go to sleep.
That's living. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's living when you don't even, you know, it doesn't matter the hours. You're not
Yeah.
counting the hours till it's time to
Yeah.
Because if you're like looking forward to Friday, you can't wait for Friday at 5 o'clock.
Oh,
Like you need to find something else to do.
dude, I'm the opposite. I'm like, oh, it's Friday. It's gonna be slow again.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm the same way because everything normally in the outside the normal world, I guess. I mean, everything
Yeah.
is Saturday and Sunday. People they just check out until Monday
Yeah.
morning.
So
So I'm the
sad.
same way.
Yeah.
When it comes to Saturday, I'm like, oh man, I can't do this. I can't really work like I would normally. Certain things because I just can't get access to things. So,
Yeah.
so I will make sure I post all your social media stuff. I'll make sure I post it so
Yeah.
everybody can reach out to you.
Cool.
Mastermind, once you get a little more detail about it, send it to me so I can post it and let everybody know. And I literally can sit here and talk to you more about.
I know. Same here. Let's just
But then
chat.
you charge me more.
So what else going on in your life?
Right now for me, it's just about planning out. And I saw one of your posts with, I don't know if it was a client or someone that was talking about how and I'm the same way as far as like scheduling stuff out a month in advance and you don't like to do it.
I can't do it. No, dude.
It's very hard. So how far out will you plan? Do you go days, a week? And obviously stuff happens during the week where maybe you may change up. So how far do you go out planning, or do you plan, or just more like 24 hours at a time?
I never planned, dude. No. So here's the thing. Like when I first started, and this is what I recommend anyone who's just starting, it's, I don't stress out too much about creating. Like you'll see all these videos and gurus talk about, oh, let's block, this amount of time so you can create this batch of content. And I'm like, if you're doing that, then I feel like you kind of lose that authenticity, because it's like, you're kind of forcing yourself to talk about something.
Right.
What if you get inspired tomorrow about talking to something else? You're gonna be like, oh, well, I'm not gonna post that because I'm the plan. Like, no. So I do recommend being a little bit more strict with your schedule when you're first starting, because you're trying to get into the momentum of, being consistent, right? Yeah. So that's important. And the way that I would do it, or the way that I did when I first started. Yeah, sure. When I first started was, I knew what days I wanted to post. So for example, I knew that I wanted to post Monday through Friday. I knew what times did the best for me with some trial and error. So I'm like, okay, between 11 to 1 p.m. I'll post. And then on top of that, as far as I would go is picking the topics that I wanted to talk about each week. So for example, I created like a theme each month, to where if I was in the fitness industry, maybe 1 week I'll talk about nutrition. The next week I'll talk about fitness, mindset, etc. So maybe coming up with themes can help you stay on track with your content, because I think that's so stressful, especially when you're first starting and you don't really know, like, who your ideal client really is, what your message really is, and you're figuring this out. How are you supposed to create so much content around that? Like, no. So the more you're consistent with posting, the times of day you're posting and the topics, you'll start gathering a lot of information through feedback of your audience, and you say, this topic does well, or this time does well. So I would say maybe like create themes on a weekly basis and stick to those themes and see what theme does the best. Now, as of now, I've gone to a point where I know my ideal client so well. I know my message so well. I know my story very well. So all I know is that I know I post, most of the time I'm posting Monday through Thursday and Saturday mornings. Those are the best for me. The times is anywhere between 11 to 1. Those are the best for me. And I always pick either an ideal client struggle, a question, or I share my story. And I know now what my audience likes to hear more of. So I'll recreate that over and over again in different ways, because at the end of the day, marketing is super boring. It's very simple. And it's just saying the same damn thing over and over again in different ways. That's it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So so don't stress out too much about like content schedule. It's just, pick some times, topics to talk about, and put it in your calendar, put it in your schedule. Yeah.
And that consistency thing I think that might be the most important thing, is consistency. Doing it at whether it be the same day or time, whatever you choose. But doing it so people get used to it, because a lot of people will start and then stop and start and stop. You can't build any momentum doing anything that way. So that is great information. and great advice. So mentors, now what are you reading right
Mm.
now? And who are some of your mentors?
My top favorite person that I've actually been listening to since before my I don't know if I even want to mention the gym's name. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, but you know,
It's
my
okay. Yeah.
my last job.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how great they were. So my last job, so this has been like 7 years that I've been following this one life coach, now author. His name is Brendon Burchard.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the very first one because I've never been into self-improvement
Yeah.
till I started listening to him. So Brendon Burchard, I followed for so long because I feel like he'll hit every single point. Like
Right.
whether it's about business, relationships, life, he can connect with you in such great way that allows you to implement those strategies and actually see results. So
Yeah.
Brendon Burchard is one of the biggest motivators, you
Yeah.
know. Now that's my ride or die. Like that's my to
Okay.
go, no
Okay.
matter what. Now, as far as an idol, more someone that I look up to that I want to be like,
Uh-huh.
and that I have admired for quite some time. Her name is Marie Forleo. Do you know who that is?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
perfect.
Yeah, so a lot of the people that there's like this connection of because she did a course with a video guy. His name is James. I'm about to lose. He's a video guy out in California.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name right now, but I know her from him because I
Okay,
would
cool.
follow him on doing a lot of video stuff, and she reached out to him to help her with some kind of creating her content via video.
That's cool.
And so yes, I am familiar with her. So she's and I don't follow her that much, so I don't know. I know she's big, just don't know how big because I don't follow her that much.
Yeah. And what I really like about her too, though, right now she's more in the business side of things. So,
Right.
she has business courses and teaches
Yeah.
you about copy and how to build your brand online. But what I like about her too is that she started when she was in her early 20s. So she kind of started like me, and she was a fitness coach as well. So she has a lot of fitness stuff out. And then she tried, she went from fitness to business. So it's kind of, I relate so much to her and her style of coaching I really enjoy. So Marie Forleo, Brendon Burchard, and I'll name one more that of course and you either hate him or love him, and his name is Gary Vee. You either hate that guy or love that guy. And I think like I can take him like, here and there, like if I'm really kind of like losing motivation and I'll listen to one of his videos, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go again. Yeah.
No, you're right. And so Gary Vee and Grant are very similar. Gary Vee's probably actually I don't know who's more more upfront
in different ways. I think
they are. They're slightly different, but I love Gary Vee, but I'm the same thing. There's certain things that he has no filter whatsoever, which is good for a lot of people.
Who he is,
like they really need it. And there are times where I need it. I'm going through something, and I'll just go listen to Gary Vee, and I'm like, all right, I need to just stop. Get like shut up and talk, or Grant, stop being a little bitch.
Okay, fine, I will. I'm not a bitch.
Yes. So all these people, and another one for me is like, so Ed Mylett is huge for me. Love Ed Mylett.
Okay, you got me on that one. I don't know that one.
He's an entrepreneur as well. He actually trained. He was actually coached by Tony Robbins.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
A while ago. So Ed Mylett's really good, and then the other one for me is Darren Hardy. Those are probably
okay.
Darren Hardy's
I like that.
Used to be publisher of Success Magazine. So I follow his stuff. Super. So Compound Effect. I talk about it all the time this time of year because everybody's thinking about January 1st and trying to build new habits. And the Compound Effect is an excellent book because it's all about habits.
Cool.
So
I'll have to read that one then.
It's awesome. Even if you get the audio book, it's really, really good. And he's a super disciplined guy.
Nice.
Almost excessively disciplined with what he does, but it's a great read.
Cool.
So, well, good. Well, I appreciate you so much. This is a little selfish just because I've been watching you. I'm like, I want to talk to Ursula.
That's good.
I meet with people. I'm learning and listening to people. So that's the nice thing that I get to listen to you. And like I said, anything I can help you with as you start getting information on this mastermind or anything else, let me know.
Sure.
I'd love to have you come on, talk again. anytime you want to, but I will definitely promote whatever you've got going on at any time. So
Yeah, for
it
sure. I'm
was an
actually planning on
absolute.
starting my podcast in January too. So you're gonna be one of
There we
you're in
go.
my list. You're in my list.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I love podcasts. And that's
Yeah.
kind of the voices. That's kind of the thing that people look at.
Yeah.
They can just listen to it in
Yep.
the background, have it in their
Yeah.
pocket, and just and now Alexa, you just say, "Hey Alexa, play Ursula's podcast." I mean,
So cool.
it's
Yeah.
awesome. So
That's
podcasting is
awesome.
great. So if I can
I
help
don't
you with
even know
that, you
what
let me
music is anymore.
know. No, oh, I'm the same way. I know you said you like cut off music. I pretty much do the
Yeah.
same thing. I just
Yeah.
listen to podcasts all day long, all day long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's just so it's a great way to keep motivated and
for sure.
inspired
Yeah.
because you're hearing all this positivity, and most of the time people are feeding their brains with negativity,
Yeah.
whether that is a coworker or TV or
Yeah.
social media. So that's the big thing too, like.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, I appreciate it again. Like I said, I'll get everything posted, website, everything
Cool.
posted so people can reach out to you. And
Okay.
we will do this again soon. I promise we will.
Oh, we will. You're gonna be on mine soon too, so.
Sounds good, Ursula. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you so
All
much.
right. We will talk soon. Take care.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye bye.